I'm here with Brian Vaasjo, CEO of Capital Power, to talk about decentralized energy. Brian, hello.
Good afternoon.
Brian, tell me, how do we currently deliver energy in Canada, and what trend or what direction are we taking?
So currently in Canada, it's very much a traditional approach of standard transmission and distribution from large generation sites, whether they be coal or nuclear or natural gas or hydro facilities. The way things are moving, driven by environmental pressures, driven by the not in my backyard pressures, the high cost of transmission, all drives towards an environment for more distributed generation. And we're starting to see some significant momentum in that direction, both in terms of distributed generation, such as combined heat and power, but also in terms of renewables, as they tend to be relatively distributed as well.
You talked about the pressures that we're seeing that the industry is facing. Can you elaborate a bit on this? What's the benefit of these pressures, I guess, and how is the industry reacting to these pressures?
Well, certainly from an environmental perspective, there's an increasing pressure, particularly around greenhouse gases today. And the way industry is reacting is by rapid changes to technology, making it that relatively low or no carbon processes for generating power are at a cost that is reasonable from a consumer standpoint.
And what role, if any, does the government play right now and should play in the future, whether at the national level or at the provincial level?
So generally speaking, governments are very involved in what's happening on the power side. And a lot of that's being driven, of course, by power being an essential service, but in addition to that, that being one that is very tied to the environmental agenda. Generally speaking, most governments, in my opinion, are over-involved. They're getting into micromanaging specific selection of technology. They're getting into trying to combine different kinds of agendas in terms of trying to create employment, trying to do a number of other things that is resulting in results that are not as optimal as they otherwise would be in terms of generating relatively green, low-cost power.
Overall, what's next for this industry?
So certainly you see the continuation of the existing trends. I think governments are learning to step back a little bit and create an environment that allows energy industry to do what they can do best, find technological solutions, work together, and from a science standpoint, certainly the dropping costs of technology and emerging ways in which we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions are all coming together to again drive the distributed generation agenda and opportunities significantly forward, in Alberta and Canada and North America, to the tune where our expectation is that'll be well over 50% of the additional capacity in the North American market developed over the next 15 to 20 years.
Very interesting. And if we want to find out more, is there Capital Power has a website, or is there somewhere where consumers can get information?
So generally speaking, on corporate websites, there isn't generally a lot of information, but there's a lot of organizations, such as your organization, such as certainly the Canadian Electrical Association, and a number of others that do talk to the emerging trends in the power industry, and particularly as it relates to reducing environmental footprints.
Great. Well, we really appreciate your time today, and congratulations and thank you for coming to Calgary.
Thank you.
Thanks, and you'll be able to find out more information on the DEC website as well.